Hey guys, TRScientist here, and today I am back for another episode of r/PettyRevenge. In day number 25, we're almost at 4 weeks worth of these videos. And I'm pretty sure I'm close to the end of the month as well. I forget if August has 31 or 30 days. And I'm supposed to be somewhat smart. But today, I have 5 stories lined up for today. And first story is, with apologies to anyone who sews. I was raised by my abusive grandparents. My grandfather isn't worth mentioning, and my grandmother died when I was 15. She had an aneurysm while on the toilet, dying with the same grace she had while alive. I'm in my mid-30s now, and I don't often think of her, but I do keep one small petty habit. Grandma was a seamstress, and her most prized possession was a pair of super sharp, fancy, expensive dressmaking shears. I once used them to cut paper, and she made me sleep on the porch for a week. Holy shit. For those who have said this seems like a random punishment, she was abusive. If I was going to be an animal, then I should be treated like one and sleep outside. It wasn't about the scissors, it was about me existing in her line of sight when she wanted to lash out. When she died, one of the few things I asked for were those scissors. I have used them to cut everything but fabric for the last 2 decades. I ruined them in the kitchen, for crafts, for projects around the house. The other day, I used them as a hammer when I was too lazy to grab the toolbox. It's stupid and petty, but nothing beats the tiny spark of malicious glee that I feel every time I use those fucking scissors to cut duct tape and then pry open a paint can. Here's to you, Nana. I hope you went to heaven, because I know there's nothing you hated more than the happiness of others. Edited to add, thank you for all the commenters. It's been 20 years since she died. I've had a lot of therapy, became part of a loving family, and I have a wonderful, interesting life. The best revenge I could have. I still have the odd time when childhood trauma raises its ugly head, but even my worst days are happier than any day when she was alive. The scissors are just something that makes me laugh, and a good reminder that she can't actually hurt me anymore. Thank you for all the warm wishes. Be good to each other, and may you all have health, happiness, and the occasional joy of petty revenge. Petty revenge on the dead. There's a title for you. The old Uno reverse card. One day I came home from work and someone else's car was parked out in front of my house. No matter, I park outside my neighbor's house. When I wake up the next day to go out to my car to leave for work, there's a note tucked on my windshield. I unfold it and it says, "Do not park here ever again, or else," in a font so large, it takes up the whole page of paper. I folded it up, placed it in my glove box, and there it sat for nearly a year. Until the day he parked out in front of my house. I tucked the note he left me on his window and went to bed. The next day, I was enjoying my morning coffee. I watched his wife go to get in the car and noticed the note. She read it with a puzzled look that quickly turned to rage. I thought she would storm over to ask me about it, but apparently she recognized her husband's handwriting and went to ask him. He had to sheepishly explain to her that he left it on my car, and she brought him over, tail between his legs, to apologize. We had a beer. He stared at the floor the whole time. It was cool. A year in the making. And he parks in front of your house, and you deliver his message back to him, and it backfires right in his face. And he was forced to apologize, which makes it even better. Girls in middle school thought I did not know Spanish just because of my appearance. We're going back to the old nugget of racism through language. Background: I am Hispanic born in the US, but my appearance made me look like I'm an Asian because I have squinted eyes from my dad's side and I speak two languages, Spanish and English. So it was the end of my 4th period, and after that period I go to lunch. So I am going towards the lunch line and meet up with some of my friends and go to the lunch line together. And while in line, we began talking about video games and such, and as we talk, a group of girls that were behind us waiting in line thought that no one can understand their secret language, which was just Spanish. But I think nothing much of it until they started bad-mouthing about other people in the lunchroom. Like, for example, look at that kid, he looks like a dog. And such, which gets my attention for a bit and ignored them. As soon as I started to mind my own business with my friends, they started to talk about me and saying that I look so ugly and other swear words in Spanish, which really pissed me off. As soon as they were about to say more about my appearance, I say in Spanish loud enough so that they can hear. Imagine calling people ugly even though they look worse. My friends knew what was going on at that point because they understood Spanish also, so they started laughing and saying things like, "That's so true," at the girls. The girls turned pale after they realized that we understood their language as well and left the lunchroom. It was the best feeling ever because they got what they deserved, and they learnt their lesson after that. There was a lot of grammatical, like, more spelling errors, really. Like, there and there, like, there and there, and, other, like, talking, you just say talk. But I'm not gonna judge a person for that. Maybe they're on mobile. But all that to satisfying one. It's just like, I speak Spanish too, even though I appear to be Asian. I blocked a shoeless man from going to the bathroom on an airplane. I apologize for formatting on mobile still on the plane. I'm 22 and currently on a flight that's about 5 hours. I'm stuck in the middle seat, so obviously already aggravated. The person to my left, important later, took his shoes off about 5 minutes into the flight. I asked him politely to put his shoes back on because it smells like Cheez-Its and sweat. He responded, "I'm more comfortable like this." So at this point, I'm beyond livid. It's just rude. So about an hour later, he asked to pee, and I responded, "I'm more comfortable like this." I sat there until he put his shoes back on. It's gross that he wanted to go to the bathroom without shoes on. Whatever. Hope you enjoyed. The fastest response to a PettyRevenge happening, huh? Literally in the middle of the flight. You are a brave man to throw down like that in a closed space with no escape. Last story. Somebody tried to stand in a parking spot to hold it so they could move closer. First time post in this thread. Not great with grammar, so please forgive me. I was reading through this thread and it jogged my memory. One afternoon, around 5 p.m., around 105 degrees Fahrenheit, relevant later, in the US, my wife, my in-laws, my 2 kids, and I are in a packed parking lot outside of a little market. There also happened to be a fair going on at the same time. There being so many of us, we had to take 2 vehicles. That being said, my mother-in-law is handicapped and has the parking that comes along with it. However, there was no open handicap parking spots available, so I found 2 parking spots, one being closer than the other. I took the parking spot furthest away so they could park as close as possible, so she wouldn't have to walk far. She has a bad back. Nice thing to do for your mother-in-law. As I parked, a woman got out of the passenger seat of a parked car further down and walked up to the open parking spot and took her stance. My in-laws tried pulling into the parking spot and the woman would not move. So I did the only reasonable thing that you could do in that situation. I stood behind my in-laws' car and in front of the other woman's car, whom the lady standing was waiting for. She yelled at me to move, so I calmly said, "No, you can't hold that parking spot, she needs to move." She yelled some more and refused to budge, so I did the best thing I could. I told him I have all day, and I sat in the middle of the parking lot in front of that car in the blistering heat. After about 2 minutes of me sitting there, the woman trying to hold the parking spot finally moved, so my in-laws could park there. Man, my ass was on fire, but it was 100% worth it, as she walked away pissed off. And to make matters better, she lost her other parking spot, and I'm pretty sure they had to park a lot further away than they were. It's just, I would be holding a parking spot for my own parents, and I'd be like, no, like, I'm not. If someone else came along and they went to pull in the spot and they saw me, I'd be like, I would not stand my ground. I'd be like, okay, here you go. I'll just find another spot. But yeah, with that out of the way, I'm going to end this episode here. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. Links in the description to the main channel and also the channel that you're on right now that has links on the screen to the playlist and the last episode. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you know when the next video comes out. A ding, ding. I'm Mad Scientist. Mad Scientist out.